Hi guys, I'm delighted to be joined by a very relaxed Ben Curtis to talk about his rise in the classics this weekend at Epsom. The first is on Friday. It's the Oaks. He's having his first ride in the race. Ben, welcome.
Yeah, good to be on. Looking forward to it.
Mystery Angel. She was a very impressive winner in the Pretty Polly. She ran a credible race. Good to soft ground though. You'd think that maybe had a factor in the Musadora Stakes.
Listen, I think her time speed figures were very good from Newmarket on quick ground. She's done a lot of her racing on slow ground for one reason or another. It's just the way it's turned up on the day, and she's able to handle slower conditions. But she put up a personal best in Newmarket on quick ground, so that looks like the kind of surface we're going to encounter on Friday. And yeah, very much looking forward to getting on her.
Yeah, it was just reading a quote there today from Epsom. They're actually going watering the track. It's crazy to think last week there was meetings getting called off for soft ground and waterlogged ground, and now they're going watering. It just shows you what kind of a track Epsom is.
Yeah, well, I popped down there about a week ago and gave her a float around the track, and it was very, very heavy ground. It rained hard all night, so to think that it's going to be good to firm and watering's taking place, it's pretty unbelievable.
And good to form will be to our advantage.
I mean, she's done her highest speed figure on it, so you'd have to say yes. But I think she was in the form of her life going into Newmarket, which kind of led to the decision to run her in the Musadora then in York. Um, it was a very quick turnaround between winning at Newmarket and going to York. And I felt on the day she turned up and ran um, very flat in herself. She wasn't her usual self. She wasn't bouncing around the place. And, she's had a nice break between that race and the Oaks on Friday. She's freshened up. George couldn't be happy with her at home. And yeah, hopefully she turns up on the day. She's got her conditions, and you've got to be in it to win it.
There's a lot of positives. Talk to me about Epsom. It's a very undulating track, but Newmarket is quite similar, or would it be completely different tracks?
Listen, I think one of Miss Rangel's key strengths going into the race. There's a lot of very lightly raced. There's a lot of very lightly raced horses in there. She is very straightforward. She's very well balanced. Any track she's ran at, she's handled, whether it be Wolverhampton, Newmarket. I mean, she's very adaptable, very straightforward. And I think when you're going to a place like Epsom, which you're going across roads, you're turning around to your left, you're running downhill. There's a big camber in the straight. It can only be a benefit to me to have a partner that's on the same wavelength as me and is capable and balanced.
It's very important to be in sync, all right. She's a very balanced filly, Ben, is she?
She is, yeah. She's very easy to organise. She carries herself well. She's very straight, so that'll make my job a lot easier come Friday.
Beautiful. We hope she puts up a very, very good performance. With a bit of luck, she might be too far away in the firing line.
Well, listen, I think fair play to George and to Nick Bradley Racing for supplementing her. It was 17,000 to put her in, but I think the thought process was there is only one Oaks. There was other races tossed around, but the Oaks is kind of the pinnacle for the season. And if you've got one good enough to run in it and one that you think can be competitive at the business end, then why not take the chance? And fair play to them. George's string could not be in better form. I mean, he's knocking in winners left, right, and centre. He's had, I couldn't even count how many individual 2-year-old winners, and the older horses are flying. So, the stable's in great form. Nick Bradley is a great knack of finding a good filly. He's done it year on year. So, listen, we go there, fingers crossed. We know there's plenty in there that we have to beat, but at the same time, we're going to go there in great form with plenty of experience and give it our best shot.
Well, we have a very shrewd up and coming trainer, a very shrewd owner to place his horses, and one of the best riders in the business at the minute. So, with a bit of luck, hopefully, we'll see you right in the business end, as I said, on Friday. But
Yeah,
that's
you were
Friday, and
right about.
hopefully, sorry, Ben, I cut you off.
I said you were right about the first two parts of that.
I know this figure speaks for themselves. Leading rider, of course, in the UK, winning most jockey 2020. But that was Friday. Let's talk about Saturday, the big one, the Derby. I suppose growing up as a boy, every jockey, when they lace up a pair of boots, is the one race, obviously, on the flat that you want to win.
Yeah, I think the Derby is a massive. It's the one of the main events of the flat racing season over here. I was lucky enough to get a ride in it last year. I've had a good few rides around Epsom now, and to get the leg up again in the Derby for the second year in a row is fantastic.
Yeah, gear up. He's an exciting outsider. He's a lively chance. He was a very good. He had a very good 2 Euro campaign, and we've seen him come back into Dante this year. And there was a lot of positives to take from that run into Dante, I thought.
Yeah, it was a strangely run race. The Ballydoyle runner that Holly Doyle was on went off in front, and the main pack never chased her. And to be honest with you, I just pecked coming out of the gates, and it cost me a length and a half, and I ended up sitting behind Kevin Manning, whereas I would have ideally liked to either be out in front or chasing the leader, because my lad was a winner on heavy ground over a mile and a quarter as a 2-year-old. So, a mile and a half was always going to be well within his compass. And when I missed the break, I was in the lap of the gods then, that I needed them to go hard to set the race up for me. I was in a pocket. I couldn't go out and I couldn't go forward. So I had to sit and suffer and just ride a race from there. I think he ran very respectable. He came into the straight. He looked a likely winner 2 down before getting a little bit outpaced. And then he stayed on again come the line. But, a mile and a half was always going to be what he was looking for this year. And, I hope if he takes a step forward, which I think he will, he had a nice blow. He should take a nice step forward from the Dante. If he takes a step forward and, things pan out in the race, then hopefully we can give it a good go.
Yeah, you mentioned that run in France last year, but that was a Group 1 over mile 2 on heavy ground. So there's no doubt about his stamina.
No, he's plenty of stamina, and there's no doubt about his class either. To win any Group 1 anywhere, you have to have class in abundance. So, he has that. He has that first run of the season under his belt in the Dante to blow away the cobwebs. And I'm just hoping that things go to plan in Epsom. It is the Derby. It's going to be ultra competitive. There's a lot of horses in there that are coming with what you'd say is stronger profiles, even from their runs this year. I think the favourite, looked very impressive when it won in Leopardstown. So, same as Charlie Appleby, he has a couple of well-touted runners in it as well. One of which won the Dante. So, it is going to be a tough race. My lad is going to have to take a big step forward. But again, he's a very straightforward type. He's had a good bit of racing, so he knows what it's all about. And when you're going around Epsom, you want to have a horse who, goes through the motions with you when you ask them, are able to carry themselves and be balanced. So, I think, but as with the Oaks, it's the same with the Derby. I'm on one that knows its job, and hopefully if things pan out right, we could be somewhere in the mix at the finish.
Yeah, hopefully we might enter the frame twice.
Fingers crossed.
They're your 2 main rides of the weekend. Have you any other rides the weekend that you might want to share a thought or two about?
It's obviously declarations aren't done yet, so it's hard to know exactly what I'll run. But I'm looking as if I'll have kind of 3 or 4 rides on both days.
Lovely.
And then there's a lot of handicaps and a couple of group races on the Saturday that I should have rides in, but I'm just waiting for it all to get locked down now.
Of course, yeah. Ben, it was a pleasure talking to you. I think anyone that doesn't have anything got to do with connections would be delighted to see you win any of the classics, if not the 2 of them. With a bit of luck, hopefully you can enter the frame and maybe even hit that winning post in front.
Well, you know what they say, you've got to be in it to win it. So we're in both of them, and riding for George Bowie, who's absolutely flying at the moment, and riding for the Johnson team, can't go too far wrong. So fingers crossed.
Beautiful. Well, I'm going to let you get back to your sun tanning there, and no doubt you probably have a little bit of a barbecue on the go. So I'm going to let you go enjoy your evening, and hopefully you'll have some good results the weekend.
Brilliant. Spot on, buddy. Chat you soon.